Welcome back to the channel to another video where in this video I'm going to be doing each Premier League team's worst moments this season, in the 23-24 season. We're going to see if you agree or disagree with any of my choices. We're going to go from 20th to 1st as it stands in the table. So yeah, let's get into it. For Sheffield United, I've gone with their 8-0 loss to Newcastle, with each goal scorer being different, which is the first time that's happened in probably ever. I'm not sure if there's any other occasions where that has happened. But yeah, that was Sheffield United's worst moment. There are others, like losing to clubs around them, cementing their relegation back down to the Championship, but that's the one I've gone for. But next we've got Burnley. I've gone with their 5-0 loss to Arsenal. Yes, we can say Arsenal are going to win, but to lose by 5 goals in any game is embarrassing, and that should be recognised as your worst moment in that season. Next, from Luton, we've gone with conceding another 5 goals, but this time it's a bit different. Conceding 5 goals to Haaland, conceding 5 goals to that League 2 quality striker in their 6-2 loss in the FA Cup to Manchester City. There are others, but I think Luton have had a good season despite them being in a relegation scrap. I think they've had a good season. Forest, I've gone with obviously having their 4 points deducted. That will be a blow to the team, and evidently it has been. They've not really been picking up the results they should be, in the run into the end of the season. Next we've got Brentford. I've gone with their 2-1 defeat to relegation battle Burnley. Again, not good. Everton, their 6-0 defeat to Chelsea, where Cole Palmer run a riot around them. You just can't be losing 6-0. Not in a top flight league, you just can't be. It's just not happening. You could also go with their points deduction, but they did also get their points back, so I guess kind of balances it out. For Palace, I've gone with losing Eze, because they lost Eze for 2 months against Sheffield United, where they won 3-2. But they also had Elise out for injury. Their injury, for those 2 players, it has been very substantial to the quality of their side, which is unfortunate for them. Next, we've got Fulham. I'm going to go suffering back-to-back losses against Burnley and Bournemouth. And the reason why that's so bad is because I know they're the same kind of quality, but I think that they've only suffered back-to-back losses twice in the league, and the other time was against better quality sides, which you can kind of expect. But losing against Burnley for one, poor, and then losing again obviously can do a nice blow to the team's morale. Next we've got Brighton, and I'm going to go with their 4-0 loss to Roma. Despite them winning in the second leg of that game, they still crashed out of Europa League. It was a poor performance from Brighton and should be recognised as a very low part in their season. Next we've got Wolves. Now we're heading over from one tournament to another, the FA Cup, where they lost in the 90 plus 10th minute to Coventry, which not fun. Not in the derby like that. To lose by such fine margins, it must be a blow and a dent. Next we've got Bournemouth, and I've gone with their 3-0 loss to Everton. Overall, I think Bournemouth have been a good side, so having any kind of significant defeat does kind of change a little bit, and I think that's their lowest point in the season. And also because it's Everton and they shouldn't be losing to Everton. Next we've got Chelsea. Now we're heading to the Carabao Cup. And I think you all know what game I'm talking about, the final, where they lost to Liverpool in, give or take, the last moments of that game, the dying embers, and the Chelsea quality side, the Liverpool quality side, at the end of that game, they should not have conceded that header by Van Dijk. Shouldn't have happened, but it did. And they've bottled another trophy, and it's got to be a low point in their season. I think they've been good this season, better than last season, but that's irrelevant. Next, we're heading over to West Ham. From big defeats to big defeats. Now we've got a 6-0 loss to Arsenal at home, may I just add. Losing by any margin at home is never good, but losing by a significant difference at home when you have that home advantage is poor. And there are other moments in where they've also lost to Leverkusen, but everyone loses to Leverkusen this season. They're on fire, irrelevant, but yeah. Next we've got Man United, and now we're going to go from one European trophy to the next. Champions League. They put... No, not Man United. Newcastle crashing out of the Champions League. I know we weren't expecting them to do anything in a group full of Dortmund, AC Milan and PSG, but they really didn't pull their weight in that group. They were the weak link and they got peppered week in and week out. Yes, I think they got a win, but overall, peppered. They didn't stand a chance, which is unfortunate. And yeah, they didn't even get like third place to go into Europe. They finished fourth. Shocking. Next, we've gone, obviously, United with a 3-0 defeat to Bournemouth. I was actually in the shopping mart. I was doing shopping when that happened. I was getting ping. Oh, they're losing again. 3-0. Not so much bad moments this year for Man United. Obviously, I've got them crashing out of European football, but they had a tough group, I guess, being Bayern Munich, Galatasaray, Copenhagen, and then United. And they had some close results in there as well. There's a lot of 3-2s, 4-3s, stuff like that, which is unfortunate for them. I think that's a very low point. Next we've got Spurs, and we've gone with Van de Ven and James Maddison getting injured in the same 90 minutes in their 4-1 loss to London rivals Chelsea. They also got 2 red cards in that game. That game was an absolute meltdown, and that's where their season went from first to about 6th, and then they've slowly started to climb back up into around the top 5, top 4 kind of debate. Next we've got Villa, and now we've got their 4-0 loss to Spurs. Spurs have been very up and down, and it has thrown some roundabouts to other teams, and they've beat Villa 4-0, which is always good for the kind of progress they're kind of making. Spurs anyway, because obviously they're both competing in the 5th and 4th kind of battle, trying to get that top 4 space. It looks like Villa are going to get it, but they can't have been good to losing to the team just below you at that current point. It's, just saying. Next, you've got Liverpool, where they crash out of Europa League football against Atalanta, losing 3-0. As a Liverpool fan myself, I felt this was the turning point in our season, because we're obviously running in the top for the title in the Premier League season at that point. And to lose to Atalanta really just went, and then we just went to loss to Crystal Palace, Everton, drew to United, West Ham in the following games, but everyone's like, oh, we're going to win because no one can stop them. Turns out all it took was a game outside of the Premier League to really damage the rest of our season. Next we've got City, and obviously it's a recency bias, but they haven't really had much bad moments this season, but I have gone with their penalty shootout loss to Real Madrid. As they were looking for, to get back in to holding the trophy, doing a double after a treble, and then they lose on penalty shootout. Such a fine line to lose on, but they lost it. It's because they're poo. And we're going to see them in National League next year. Hold that. Arsenal to finish us off with their 2-0 loss to Villa. Again, I've said Villa have swung some roundabouts in amongst the teams around them, and to blow a 2-0, because they also beat Arsenal again, and Man City, they've been, and obviously Spurs around them, they've been a force for the teams above them, not so much below them. They've had some meh results, obviously drawing to Sheffield United earlier on in the season, never ideal, but yeah, I don't know, I'm talking about Villa. Arsenal have been, obviously you could have the defeat against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, you could have, numerous other moments in the Premier League, Europa League where they lost to Porto, but they managed to claw that one back, so it doesn't really matter. The defeat to Liverpool in the Cup, but they paid us back in the league anyway. Arsenal have a very good chance of winning the league this year, and I'm rooting for them only because I do not want City to win again because it's boring. Me. So yeah, anyway, that's been the video of each club in the Premier League's worst moments this season. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you lot in a bit. Peace.